Right, you know what? Let me get cozy. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go downstairs, make a cup of tea, get my blanket, and get more comfy. Literally, I haven't had a tea in like forever. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience in starting out with film photography. By no means I'm a professional in what I'm about to talk about. I'm just pursuing a hobby that I like. Well, firstly, I've only started film photography maybe about 6 months ago, not too long ago. And by what you can tell, I am a digital photographer at the moment. I take photos with my digital camera, and it's been like that for, you know, a few years. Taking pictures with an older medium was a little bit more difficult because you had to get adjusted to things like, you know, not being able to see the picture right away, not being to autofocus, you know, it's all up to you, you have to focus the camera well. So there's definitely been some very interesting processes along the way, and today I'd like to share my mistakes. I'd like to share what different film stocks I've been using, where I got my camera from, all that useful information that hopefully you can take from this and learn. So one day I went on a trip to a city near me, and they had a vintage camera shop, and I popped in and they had so many 35mm cameras to choose from, and I had no idea where to start. So I asked the man in the shop and he gave me some help. So I got my hands into this Pentax K1000. I had been reading some forums online before I bought this camera, and this was definitely a suggested option for beginners, and so the guy at the shop was very encouraging, and he said that it's a very easy camera to use, but he did say that the light meter in the camera is broken, so you're gonna have to do everything manually, like literally everything. I did have knowledge on how to work a camera manually, so that wasn't a problem. Something that I also had to consider during this process was how much money I wanted to invest in this camera. I didn't want to go over £50 because I'm just a beginner. This camera was at £45, but I managed to get it for £30, which was a really good deal. I think loading the film is the most exciting part of it because it's time consuming, not gonna lie. Like, well, I mean, you get used to it, but you have to take a bit of your time putting it in, and I think it's really fun too. It's like the beginning of the process, and it has to be done right, obviously. So obviously at the beginning I had no clue how to load film. I'm gonna link a YouTube tutorial below from these, I think the Dutch couple who started out on film, and it's such an interactive tutorial, and they talk about so much information about film, and they definitely helped me understand the process. So going on to the shooting process, I started by buying a couple of films. Not very expensive films because again, I was just trying it out. So for this trip to London, I ended up buying 4 films. I bought one Kodak Gold 200, which is a film stock I've already used before in my computer, so I really wanted to try out hands-on proper film. And then I bought 2 cheap Kodak Color Plus 200. They were cheap, and I thought it was a cool, you know, very film urban retro kind of look, so I was like, we'll try it out. And then I bought one Portra 160. I don't think I'm going to be using Kodak Portra 160 really again. It wasn't really kind of my film, but I got some very positive results from the Kodak Gold 200 and the Kodak Color Plus 200. So I took Kodak Gold 200 to Camden, and literally I was so happy with the result. It just had this very urban look to it, and it was definitely what I was looking for. So I hope that I can use Kodak Gold 200 again. And actually, I'm not gonna lie, the Kodak Color Plus 200 was also really cool because it was cheap, and again, it just had this very urban film feel to it. Though it wasn't as professional, but it was good for the price that I paid. On my trip to Spain, I took a couple of films with me. Fuji Superia 200 was amazing. I really like the pink and natural tones that I received from it. But also when I went to Spain, there was a lot of green and very warm tones, and I think Fuji Superia 200 really dealt very well with those colors. And the end result was just so amazing. Like, I took pictures of the sea, and literally the sea color was just how I perceived it in real life, and that was really nice to see. I also bought Fuji Superia Extra 400, and that one I also got some really nice tones. Those are all the films I've shot with already, and hopefully in this fall season I'm gonna be trying to experiment with new ones. I'd like to try and develop the pictures myself, because I found that the developing process where you take it to a shop was a little bit expensive, especially per roll. I took about 5 rolls of film during summer, and that costed me £35 altogether. It was £7 per roll, and I think in the long-term process, I've seen some tutorials online, and I'd really like to try and process my own photos. I think that would be really fun, and obviously those chemicals can be reused a few times, well, more than a few times actually, so I think that would be fun as well. A mistake that I encountered throughout this process was when I finished my first roll of film. I was in London, I was excited, I was walking with my family in the street. I finished my first roll and my family just kept walking. I was like, Mom, wait for me. I've got my first roll done, I need to take it out of the camera. If you look at cameras, they have this little wheel here, and when you finish, you have to like unwind it, and well, not unwind it, yeah, you have to unwind it, and you just like go like this. However, I did not know that before you do that, to unrelease it from the film camera, there's a hidden button below the camera, and you press it and then you can unwind it. And then it got to a point where I was like, it got stuck and I just couldn't unwind it anymore, but there was still more to unwind. So me being stupid, because I was stressed in the London street, I opened it and the whole film got exposed to light. So all the photos I took that dead were exposed to light, which means they were literally dead. You can't develop them. But I had no choice, and what I found in the film camera was a film roll fucked up. I don't know how to explain what happened, I'm gonna be honest. I have this, which is essentially the film photos that I took on London that day, and completely lost. So my first film roll was completely lost. Hopefully you won't make that mistake. Make sure to press that button underneath the camera before you start unwinding. So that is everything I had on mind, and all the tips and experience that I've gone through film photography. If you have any further questions, I would be so happy to answer them. Just leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer in much detail as I can. And make sure to check out the links that I'm going to be linking below in the description with some tutorials that have helped me. And also, if you are a film photographer and you've just come by, I would really appreciate it if you recommend me any films that I should try out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys soon.